Judges chapter 6. Come with me to verse 13, 14. Ephraim, by the reason of the prophecy, the fathers have spoken over over Ephraim, that Ephraim will be the greater one. Not so. So what the father said was just for formality purpose concerning Ishmael. Nothing. Because go and watch from the first time Abraham had his biological firstborn, none of them has ever gotten inheritance. So what makes you think Manasseh will get his own? Now watch this. Okay, this is why he was still talking to the angel of the Lord that appeared to him. Let's go to next verse, 14, 15. We're going to get something. Yeah. And the Lord looked upon him and said, go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have I not sent thee? Now this is the Lord saying, go. I will use you to deliver your people. Verse 15. Let's see what the guy said. And this will prove to you that Manasseh indeed did not get any blessing. And he said unto him, oh my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. So the kindred of Manasseh, they are known for poverty. And he's saying, even in this poor kindred, my family is the smallest. Is the what? My family is the what? The poorest, the poorest. So what did God do? God said, okay, it's a cycle. You know what God told him to do? That's why you need to understand. What God pointed to him, God said, you must destroy the altar of your father's house. That is the strong man. Go to verse 16. Come with me. Come with me. And the Lord said unto him, surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. Verse 17. Walk with me fast. And he said unto him, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then shew me a sign. So he was asking for sign and all that. Let's go to verse 21. Verse 21. This is when he was asking for sign. But the Lord gave him an instruction of what to do to end the cycle. Verse 22. He was afraid now. Go to verse 23. The Lord said to him, he became afraid. The Lord said, don't worry, peace unto thee, for you will not die. And the Lord said unto him, peace be unto thee, fear not, thou shalt not die. Because he was putting the Lord to test. Verse 24. Then Gideon built an altar there unto the Lord, and called it Jehovah Shalom unto this day. It is yet in offering of the 𝗖𝗹𝗆 right. Verse 25. Come with me. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord, who said unto him? Who said unto him? Please take note. And the Lord said unto him, take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that thy father had, and call down the grove that is by it. I will explain this shortly. Go to verse 2. Let's see the next verse. And build an altar unto the Lord thy God upon the top of this rock, in the ordered place. Somebody say ordered place. No deliverance happens without order. No deliverance happens without order. If not, you will only see manifestation without result. It is the order that produces the result, not just the manifestation. He said, watch. He said, and build an altar unto the Lord thy God on top of this rock in the ordered place, and take the second bullock and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove which thou shalt cut down. With the wood of the grove which thou shalt cut down. Remember, the Lord said in the ordered place. Somebody say, I hear you. Now, one would have expected, after God showed up by himself, God would have said, Gideon, I have shown up. Go. Your case is settled. God said, no. There is a strong man in your father's house. You must deal with the strong man for you to move to the next level. That was the family strong man. That was the strong man that don't allow any firstborn to rise. That was the strong man that don't allow first sons to come into their inheritance. This has been the strong man that don't allow people get married correctly in your family. This has been the strong man that recruits wicked people to fight in your family. This has been the strong man that makes people in your family, they don't have more than one child. This is the strong man that causes everyone to have one kind of sickness in your family. It could be high blood pressure, it could be diabetes. Passed from one generation to the other. And God came. God, one would have expected God to say, now because I have shown up, I've heard your cry. Now, go, your case is over. God said, no, there is a strong man responsible for this battle. He said, for me to use you to end this cycle, to deliver not just your family, but the nation, you have to start from your father's house. You got to start from your father's house. Because there is an altar there. There is an altar. Every family has an altar. Every family has a strong man. It doesn't matter who you are. It's either you are walking in ignorance. Every family has a strong man. And God said, to end this strong man that has caused misfortune for all the first sons before you, you have to deal with the altar. How do you deal with altar? How do you end the cycle of a strong man? What does it mean to end the cycle of a strong man? That means stopping the negative patterns that is sponsored by the strong man. Sometimes when you are serving God and working, it's not just about you. There is a next generation. The Bible says a seed will speak for the next generation. So this is what God asked him to deal with this altar. God said, take a 7-year-old bullock. How many? Talk to me now.
7 years.
7-year-old bullock. Take note of that. Let's go to Exodus. This is how to end cycle. Without the shedding of the blood, there shall be no remission of sin. Leviticus chapter 7 verse 11, the Bible said the blood is the life of the flesh. The blood is the life of the flesh. Through one man, sin and death came into the world. The strong man came. Through another man, righteousness and life came. How did he come? That means for the man that introduced righteousness and life to break the willpower of the strong man, he had to sacrifice himself. There was blood dimension. There had to be the blood dimension. Somebody say blood dimension.
Blood dimension.
Okay, come with me. Exodus chapter 12. Exodus chapter 12. Let me show you something. I'll take this scripture. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, verse 2, just walk with me. Verse 2, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Number 3, come with me, walk with me. Speak here unto all the congregation of Israel, as I'm speaking to you now, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. A lamb for an what? A lamb for an what? So each house must get a lamb. You know why God is asking them to do this? Remember, for 400 years, Pharaoh did not let them go. For 400 years, they were in bondage. The Bible said the total years they sojourned in Egypt was 430 years. Meanwhile, the original agreement, according to the account in Genesis chapter 15, Elohim had with Abraham was that I will give you a seed that will come from your loin. But this your seed, there will be strangers in another man's land for 400 years. But after 400 years is expired, I will rise up, I will become enemy to their enemies, and I will deliver them. Even though Elohim says I will deliver you, he does not come to do that. He looks for a man that will stand in the gap. And for a man to stand, it must be a man that obeys order, that obeys instruction. That is why I said the other day, I sought for a man that will stand in gap, but I found known. God is still looking for men that will stand in gap for their family to say, Lord, I am here, I am ready. Whatsoever we need to end this nonsense, whatsoever we must do to stop this nonsense, Lord, I am ready. God is looking for crazy people that are ready. From the days of John the Baptist even up to now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and only the men of violence taketh it by force. I discovered that people do not understand the scripture. They thought the scripture is only for prayer. When you talk about violence, violence involves blood. The nature of violence is bloody.
Blood.
What is violence? When anytime violence erupts, there is bloodshed. In the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence. And only the men of violence take it by force. So there must be dimension of violence. Violence in prayer. Do you know what it means? The Bible said when Jesus was praying, he said the sweat that was dropping from him was like the drop of blood. That means you must learn violence in prayer, violence in sacrifice, violence in everything. Because the devil we are fighting is not a gentleman. He understands only one language. A gentleman understands the language of gentlemen, but a violence man understands only violence. So it takes only violence men to take it by